So with intention, if we're going to be creating the vibrational resonance of transformation, it begins with the intention. So I'm asking you, what do you want to create? What are we working on this weekend? At the end, what is the intention of transformation look like? So if you can't create it in your mind, then we can't go any further, correct? So I want you guys to start formulating what is your intention for transformation for this weekend. At the end of this weekend, and you're leaving here Saturday night, for you to say, this was the best seminar I've ever attended, what is the adventure of transformation that you want to go through, and what's the end game? That's not just transformation, it's not just the intention, it's the feeling. Because where does feelings come from? Feelings come from the body. And feelings are energetic in nature. Feelings actually resonate with the right side of the brain, where intention works with the left side of the brain. So feelings and intention together integrate both brains, but feelings is also something that you feel in your body. So if we're going to be in a place of feeling, what does it feel like to be healthy? What does it feel like to truly transform, to manifest? The indigenous cultures knew how to manipulate the universe for themselves. Ancient studies of Huna, I studied that in like 2000, before the law of attraction was out there. They've been practicing this for centuries, because there was a definitive science to that. And a lot of it is based off of feeling. Now, we're starting to talk about the genie's lamp, correct? The genie's lamp, the genie is the intention. Guess what the lamp is? The body is the vessel. That's how we access. The genie is always there, or the vessel's always there. So you might have the vessel without the genie, or you're not communicating with the genie, or you may have the genie, but you're not, or it's not out of the vessel. It's not out of the lamp. So how do we access that, correct? With me? Yeah. Vibrational resonance. Everything in this planet has vibrational resonance. Anything you put in your mouth, anything you put in your mouth, I'm just trying to follow up. George is really tough to act to follow, by the way. I try to keep things a bit more cleaner than that, but as I was making this, I was like, I know George likes making those kinds of comments, so anything that puts in your mouth has some vibrational resonance to it. And it could be an herb, it could be a pharmaceutical, it could be a sound, light, and frequency. Whatever it may be, everything has a vibrational resonance on this planet and in our cells and in our bodies. So this vibrational resonance, being able to connect the intention, the feeling together and integrating it into the body, everything that we've been talking about so far this morning and last night is how do we break these patterns? As you can see, there's a lot that goes into literally really changing that. To really change, to really make definitive physiological change where it will show up in our physical dimension. So in order for us to look at that, we have to go down to the cellular level. Because this exists at the cells. Because who are we? We're a compilation of hundreds of trillions of cells, correct? Even our brain, where our intentions come from, are cells. So in order to truly look at where vibrational resonance exists, we have to understand how the cells work. And there's a component to this referred to as cellular communication, and also the living connective tissue matrix. There's two components associated with that. One is water. Our bodies are 70 to 90% water. So we say on average we're 80% water. And water has specific properties. These are laws of nature. And the specific properties is one, they hold memory. Two, it's one of the best conductors on the planet. And actually, just a quick tidbit about water, which I told myself I was not going to do, but I can't hold it back. I'm a big proponent of ionized water and mineralized water. The best conductor on the planet is mineralized water. If you take the minerals out of the the water becomes one of the best insulators on the planet. So if you're drinking reverse osmosis water with no minerals or minerals stripped out of it, you are literally insulating your body from cellular communication, not perpetuating it, which is what we want. That's all I'm going to say. Ask me questions in the back afterwards. We'll talk about that another time. In terms of water, if our bodies are highly conductive, and if it holds memory, Dr. Samuel Hahnemann, he's the father of homeopathy. Anybody familiar with homeopathy in a room? Show of hands. He proved that if you take a physical substance and you reduce it by half, and then reduce it by half again, and keep reducing it, down to where there's no physical substance left, but the energetic signature of that physical substance, God bless you, it's stronger than the original physical substance itself. So he would use that for healing purposes. When you take a homeopathic, that's what the homeopathic does. However, let's put that into our bodies. If our bodies, if we're 79% water, so we're basically water, correct? And we have, what happens when we're children? Or what happens when we're adults? We're in an auto accident. We have some kind of emotional trauma, bad breakup. What kind of food are we putting in our body that's anchoring energy into our water, our cellular water? It's holding memory. And now all of a sudden we say to ourselves, I want to transform. How old are you? What's happened in the past? What kind of energy, what kind of memory is stored in your water that needs to be cleaned out and reprogrammed with new vibrational frequencies? So this is the gunk that slows us down, correct? So that's part number one. Part number two, the cytoskeleton. These are things like the microfilaments, microtubules, intermediate filaments. These are physiological components that exist in our bodies, and this is the structure, the shape, the movement of our cells. So instead of us just being a blob, there's a physical structure to us, and that is at the cellular level what was referred to as the cytoskeleton. And that material, the cytoskeleton consisting of intermediate filaments, microfilaments, microtubules, they're conductive in nature. And they communicate through vibrational resonance. So now we have this vibrational resonant component surrounding water that holds memory is also conductive. This is how our cells work. And there's little extensions that go inside and outside the cell. And just as a visual, picture a cell like a ball, right? Like a sphere. And picture like a spider web surrounding that sphere with these extensions inside and outside the cell. And they're communicating with the internal and external environment. So every other cell knows what every other cell is doing, and we're connected to our world. So things like air, water, food, emotions, past traumas, all these things are being registered, and your cells are saying, what does this mean? X, do something. And it's such an amazing system that works great if we didn't live in a toxic world. And I'm just finishing up a book, and it's about all of this. So if you guys are interested in finding out more information on the book, please see me in the back in my booth throughout the weekend. I'll be more than happy to talk to you about it. Now, once again, we started this lecture, or this talk rather, this process, talking about how transformation is not woo-woo. What's fascinating about this is the more that I read about this is in every single medical textbook ever written, ever. And it's found in the first chapter within the first 3 to 5 pages, this concept of what we refer to as signal transduction. Signal transduction, by definition, is a chemical reaction that occurs from an external source that creates change inside of a cell. That is the medical definition of signal transduction. Now, we've been through time, we have been indoctrinated to think that taking a pill or putting something in our bodies through our mouth is the best delivery system for creating biochemical change in our bodies. But when we study the true science of our body, the makeup of that is we're biochemical as an end result of a bioenergetic expression. Our cells occur bioenergetically, a process called mitosis. And this is a chapter in my book I broke that down and explained how that is a bioenergetic process, not a biochemical process. And it's fascinating. And when I was reading it, I just read it out of a medical textbook. It's not like I read it out of the New Age version of medicine. It wasn't that at all. So when we look at signal transduction, another word for signal is frequency, stimuli, impulses, vibrational signatures. And when we look at this picture here, this is like the three-dimensional sci-fi, explanation of signal transduction, but this is a cell. These are your little receptor sites on the outside of the cell, and there's some kind of crazy frequency protein laser beam thing happening here, and this is like a protein or a long-chain fatty acid or something, and it's some kind of signal that's influencing the cell. This is what you get out of a typical medical textbook, but there's so much here. What it says signal molecule. The signal molecule does X, influences with this receptor site, which is outside the cell. There's all these chemical reactions that occur through here, and then at the end there's a cellular response. So the question is, what is this signal molecule? Is this a good signal molecule? Is it a bad signal molecule? Is it nutritional? Is it environmental? Is it physiological? Is it emotional? So we're going to talk about molecules in just a second, but if we can, this key right here will dictate how we can rub the genie's lamp and create true transformation.